Episode 72. Hu Pingu was not pleased by the monk's words and seemed ready to argue further.
All right, everyone, enough arguing. We all agreed from the start. When dealing with external threats, we act as one and follow orders. The rest of the time, you're all free to do as you please.
Seeing Priest Qingwen take that stance, Madame Hu was a bit put out, but she didn't press the issue. After all, the priest's strength was undeniable, and she had to give him that much face.
You'll meet those two when we gather tonight, Brother Han. Let me tell you about those two, Priest. They are a bit unique, to say the least.
Priest Qingwen looked utterly helpless, as if those two were a real headache for him. Seeing this, Han Li's curiosity was piqued, but he felt it would be rude to press the matter further.
Brother Han, will you be joining our group, or would you prefer to wander on your own?
Han Li naturally chose the latter. Priest Qingwen wasn't surprised. Newcomers to the Tainan Valley were naturally curious about the place, and most preferred to explore on their own. But once they've seen all there is to see, they'll end up gathering together to move around, just like the rest of us. The Taoist was quite responsible, explaining various taboos and common conventions to Han Li, giving him a solid understanding of the Tainan gathering. Then, the Taoist gave Han Li another talisman. He pointed to a small building among the cluster of pavilions. That's our lodgings. If you're tired, Brother Han, you can go there to rest.
This talisman is the key to unlocking the formation on the small building.
Then, the group bid Han Li farewell and vanished into the night, perhaps to continue their search for other rogue cultivators. Han Li looked down at the talisman in his hand. The yellow paper shimmered with silver light, inscribed with runes he couldn't decipher. It seemed to hold some genuine power. He folded the talisman paper and tucked it into his robe. He cast one last deep glance in the direction where Priest Qingwen had vanished, then turned without hesitation and strode toward the square. Once inside the square, Han Li did as the other cultivators did, strolling slowly while examining the goods on the various stalls. According to the Taoist Qingwen, cultivators generally trade in two ways. One is bartering goods for goods. The other uses something called spirit stones as currency to buy and sell items among themselves. These spirit stones are rocks brimming with the world's spiritual qi. For cultivators, the energy they contain is an incredibly potent supplement. When a cultivator meditates and trains, absorbing the spiritual qi from a spirit stone will greatly accelerate their cultivation speed. But the greatest use of a spirit stone lies elsewhere. Its primary purpose is to power the deployment of formations and the casting of spells. The success and potency of a high-level formation often depend on the quality of the spirit stones used to power it. A high-quality spirit stone not only ensures the success of a formation, but also greatly amplifies its power, and the number of spirit stones consumed in casting a spell far exceeds that used in setting up a formation. The level and effectiveness of a spell a cultivator can cast is generally determined by their own magic power cultivation. It's highly unlikely they could unleash a spell beyond their grade using their own power alone. Thus, spirit stones became the best amplifiers of magic power. This made them the perfect choice for cultivators to fight above their weight class and turn the tables on stronger foes. They also served as the finest tonic for instantly restoring one's strength after a massive depletion of magic power. It could significantly boost their chances of survival in a fight. However, with the massive consumption of spirit stones, their overmining, and the increasing scarcity of spirit stone veins in the current cultivation world, spirit stones have gradually become a precious luxury, the exclusive currency of cultivators and the ultimate guarantee for their transactions. They also jointly established the detailed specifications and grading system for spirit stones. Spirit stones are categorized into 4 grades based on the amount of spiritual energy they contain: low grade, mid grade, high grade, and supreme grade. Furthermore, based on the elemental nature of the spiritual energy they contain, spirit stones can also be categorized into the 5 element types: metal spirit stones, wood spirit stones, water spirit stones, earth spirit stones, and fire spirit stones. There are also some rare attribute spirit stones, like wind spirit stones and thunder spirit stones, which are even more uncommon. Of course, these spirit stones were even rarer. Han Li didn't have a single spirit stone to his name, nor any goods to trade. So from the start he was just here to browse, taking his time to look this way and that as he strolled along. Though Han Li appeared perfectly composed and unhurried, many of the items on these stalls made his eyes gleam with genuine burning desire. Take, for instance, the stacks of blank talisman paper found at every single stall. These things, while common, were precisely what Han Li needed most right now.
I still don't know what the grades and tiers of these talisman papers mean, or the specific differences between them. But with my current level of skill, the basic low-tier paper should be more than enough for me to cast the immobilization technique. If I could get more talisman paper, I'd have another spell at my disposal right away. My strength would increase by a notch.
Of course, besides the talisman paper, the various other spirit talismans like the Thunderfire Talisman, Fire Dragon Talisman, and Strength Gathering Talisman also made Han Li's heart itch with desire. He even spotted a talisman at an inconspicuous stall that looked identical to his own golden shield summoning one. The price tag next to it read, Diamond Talisman, Metal Attribute, Primary Mid-Grade for Defense. It's worth 9 low-grade spirit stones. After browsing so many stalls, Han Li had gained a solid understanding of a talisman's value. A dozen sheets of blank low-grade talisman paper could be bought for a single low-grade spirit stone. As for completed low-grade talismans, their price ranged from 1 to 2 low-grade spirit stones depending on the type of spell they contained. As for mid-grade primary talismans, the price immediately jumped several-fold, selling for 6 to 10 spirit stones. And defensive spirit talismans were a bit more expensive than offensive ones.
The spiritual chi in the talismans on that stall is far denser than in this old thing I'm carrying. This worn-out piece of mine would probably only fetch a third of their price. It seems that among these cultivators, I really am a pauper.
Han Li instinctively patted his belongings. Then he remembered the spirit talisman tucked inside his robe, the one with the tiny sword etched upon it.
I still don't know this talisman's name, but I'm certain its value surpasses that of a diamond talisman.
With that, Han Li began to scan the various stalls, keeping an eye out for any talisman similar to the one bearing the small sword. But unfortunately, after checking several more stalls, he still hadn't found anything similar. He did, however, spot someone selling a high-grade primary talisman. The sign next to it read, Sky Soaring Talisman, a wind attribute primary upper-tier flight-type talisman, price 30 low-grade spirit stones, or trade for a pill of equivalent value that consolidates the foundation and nourishes vitality.
After all this time looking around, this is the first upper-tier primary talisman I've seen.
Han Li couldn't help but examine it closely. Indeed, the spiritual chi emanating from this talisman was astonishingly dense, far surpassing any low or mid-grade talismans he had seen before.
20 spirit stones. Do we have a deal?
A barefoot man with a pockmarked face couldn't help but ask the price. The stall's owner was a lean, capable young man wearing a straw hat. He pointed a finger at the sign and then ignored the man completely.
It's just a flight talisman, not an attack or defense talisman. 20 is plenty.
If it were a real attack or defense talisman, do you think I'd sell it for just 30? You wouldn't even get a peek for less than 50. Think you can get a bargain here? Take your business elsewhere. You're not welcome here.
Good lad. I, Yi Bao of Qinyi Ridge, will remember you. If you've got the guts, let's have a proper spar after the tournament.
Qin Yeling. That's the place the dwarf I killed said he was from. I don't know if what that dwarf said was true, but since this guy claims to be from the Yi family, I'd better be careful.
With that thought, Han Li instinctively took a few steps back and quietly slipped away from the spot, heading over to the next stall. But the sign's offer to trade for pills that could solidify his foundation and nourish his vitality had stuck in his mind.
I still have quite a few unused yellow dragon pills and golden marrow pills. I wonder if they meet that person's requirements. I'll go ask when there are fewer people around. If this really works out, I'll have some capital to trade for the things I need.
Han Li thought this over, then glanced back at the young man's stall. But Ye Bao was no longer there. He had vanished. Among the remaining few, another person produced a bottle and handed it to the young man. The young man opened the bottle, gave it a sniff, then shook his head lightly and handed it back to its owner. The bottle's owner left with a look of regret, and the few others who seemed to be with him followed suit shortly after. Now the stall was completely empty. Seeing this, Han Li felt a flicker of satisfaction and slowly ambled back to the young man's spot. The young man recognized Han Li as the person who had just been there a moment ago. "I have 2 types of medicine here. Let's see if they meet your requirements." With that, he produced 2 small porcelain bottles, one blue and one green, and placed them before the man. The young man took the 2 bottles, opened each lid in turn, brought them close to his nose for a deep sniff, and a thoughtful expression crossed his face. The young man didn't reply immediately. After a moment of thought, he gently placed the porcelain bottle back in front of Han Li.
Well,
To be honest, these 2 pills of yours are a bit better than what the last few guys showed me. But for me, it's still not quite enough.
The young man shook his head and refused.